Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first surprise episode. This is Mike with my co host, Evan.
What's up, everyone?
And this time we ended up watching Friday the 13th, Part 2, the second chapter in the Friday the 13th series.
Yeah, I'm gonna admit it was a little against my will, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad that I watched it because it gives me something to dog on. Um, so, yeah, I mean, it was fitting. There are three dates this year, where the 13th of the month lands on a Friday. Last month, obviously, with our last episode, which is actually, as of recording, our most viewed podcast episode, I believe. And then obviously today in March, and then the next one's in November, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah. So we're just kind of going in. I mean, it feels a little rich to say it when we're talking about these movies, but we're going in like chronological order for now.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll let you kick it off because I know you're gonna have more to say about it than I will.
All right. Well, overall, I thought the film was okay. I will give it points, though. This is the first film in the entire series where Jason is the killer. I definitely think they upped the violence and like the slasher gore for this one. I thought it was a little bit more well executed, if you get my joke.
Yeah, I
Um,
got it.
but otherwise, I was honestly a little disappointed with it.
Yeah, disappointment is an understatement. As you can see, if you're watching the video version of this, whether that be on YouTube or Spotify, if you look on the top left of your screen, that is not just a random like Spirit Halloween costume. That is what Jason looks like in this movie. There is no hockey mask. He's just wearing like a lumberjack outfit with a bag over his head. Um,
Yeah,
it's
this is pre hockey mask Jason. He gets it in the next one.
it's about the most uninspired thing you could possibly imagine.
I
There are
actually
so
have trivia
many
for that costume later on.
yeah, there are so many jokes I wish
Yeah.
I could make about putting bags over things, but I'm gonna refrain. But yeah, um, mm, I wasn't a fan. Sometimes I can look past it. Like in theory, they should have had. I don't know if you know off the top of your head, like if how much more money they had on this one versus the last movie.
I
Like,
do. They had a budget of $1.25 million, so double the budget with this movie due to the
okay,
success of the first one.
so they
They
could
had
have
double
done
the budget.
something slightly better for the costume. Okay.
For the costume, yeah. There's a reason why they made it look like that. I'll get into that in the trivia section, but I still don't think it justifies it.
Yeah, I mean, again, these are not really my types of movies, but I mean, even still, I feel like you need more of an iconic like standout look. Like Michael Myers, he has his Star Trek painted white mask. Um and Jason normally has his hockey mask. I mean, there's just these like standout traits that they have, and I think just putting a bag over your head. I mean, it gives like to me it gives like teenager not really trying to like trick or treat past his prime years. That's kind of like the vibe it's giving me. It's just it's so bad. Like I wish I had like a better way to describe it, but it's just uh and I, and even dogging on the costume aside, I don't know if you want to like get into our thoughts about like the movie itself, or we should probably do that before trivia, I would assume, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Like I had mentioned too, one of the other positives I will give this movie is they had a lot more, um, you know, diverse characters in there. They had characters with different motivations who felt like their own individual person. One complaint I do have is that half of those characters just left in the second half of the movie, like just went to town and never came back. So I don't know why you bothered to even make half of those characters.
Right.
But I will say I liked the protagonist in this one more than the first one.
Yeah,
I will give them that. That Ginny was a little bit more interesting in the than the last protagonist.
I get that, but I mean, to me, it still felt like the same formula just done again, like just with a different killer this
Yeah,
time and different people, but it's still the same thing. They're all around the lake and it's all just a killer going after them, you know. It's just it's the exact same thing. And that for me I think is like the biggest thing. Like they had like as you found out double the budget. Again, like always Mike did all the special uh fun fact deep dives for us. But yeah, double the budget, but it just they didn't like actually use that to like make any cool new story beats or anything. It's just it's the same, it's the exact same movie. And it's just like why would you make the same thing twice? That's just I can't get over that. It's so dumb. Like the only difference is the killer. And it's just I don't get it. I don't get it. And they're like even like down to like some of the shot design. Like there was one shot in particular that was really jarring to me. It was like a POV shot of Jason where he's like holding the knife, but they used like a really deep focus lens. So like you would think that a POV shot you should like everything should be in focus, but instead it's just the knife is in focus and you can barely make out anything in screen because the lens is so freaking deep. And then it like just
yeah, yeah.
and then it focuses on the person and the knife goes out of focus. I'm like, why don't you just use a shallow focus lens? I don't get it. I don't get it. There's,
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm going off on a
I
rant.
understand the gripe, but if you're doing like a POV through the eyes of Jason, he's got a lot going on, especially with the mask. So I don't think that's helping his case at all.
I
But
get it,
it
but
was just felt very underwhelming overall.
I don't know. I feel
And
like with that shot in particular, they were just trying to be artsy in like a scenario where it just doesn't work. Like I'm all for having like different depths of field normally, but like in a POV shot like that, that just this may be the film student in me coming out, but like that just really bothered. I'm like, why are you doing that? It's just, mhm.
I, I see what they were going for, but I just don't think it didn't work as well as they thought it was.
Yeah, no. And I mean, again, like the so well, I don't want to spoil what my review was, but the only reason I didn't go like a half a star lower than what I did on Letterbox was because like I did sit there thinking like after the credits rolled and I was like, okay, this may have been like an abomination of a movie, but at the same time, I've seen worse movies that like I would watch this in a heartbeat over like some other movies that I'm not necessarily going to name, but I've had to sit through some stuff, whether it be for like films class or just like some awful like Tubi movies or awful movies on Netflix back when Netflix like actually like before there were a million streaming services. Um, I was like going through my letterbox rating and I like sorted through. I don't know if you know this, but you can like sort like all of the movies you have logged by your rating. So I was looking at like my
Yeah,
lowest rated movies and I was like, okay, well I would choose to watch this over some of those. So that was the only thing
yeah.
that for me put it like a peg higher, which again I'll get to like after the fun facts when we give our final review, but that's all I really have to say about the movie itself. I don't know if you have any thoughts you want to go into before we go into fun facts.
Yeah, I just want to wrap it up saying I also wasn't a huge fan of the surprise twist ending either. I wasn't a huge fan of that where it's one of those movies that without spoiling what happens in the actual end of the film. It kind of leaves it up to the audience interpretation, but it just left me more confused than anything. Kind of wish they had a little bit more clarity to it, or like even just some hints of what like it could have happened or could not have happened, or something happened that we didn't think about. But it just kind of felt like forced, just to make sure they had another movie go on after this one.
I was gonna say, have you seen the third one?
I haven't seen the third one, but I've seen the fourth one.
Okay, I was just gonna ask like if like maybe some of the loose ends were maybe addressed in the next one, but I guess we don't know.
I But we're gonna find out in November.
Yeah. My God. But yeah, so overall, I think to put it lightly, it was I think we can agree it was kind of disappointing. um
Yeah, I kind of wish it just took a little bit more chances with it, but instead it just kind of fell back into the same pitfalls of the first one, but in a not as interesting way.
Yeah, no, I agree. But with that all said, I will let you kick off the fun facts. I know you kind of hinted that again for everyone listening. This is gonna be a it's gonna be a shorter one. There weren't as many fun facts that Mike was able to dig up because I guess there just aren't as many, which doesn't surprise me at all. But anyway, I'll let you kick it off with what you did manage to dig up.
All right, well, the first couple I have are about Jason's not so iconic costume in this. The co-producer Dennis Stewart Murphy was the one who came up with the burlap sack mask idea for Jason, with
Okay.
the rationale that it was something he could reasonably find in the woods. I think he could have just made a like a mask out of like tree bark or something. I think that would have been a little cooler, but not a bad idea. And that another thing too about the costume is that it was a reference to the 1976 film, The Town That Dreaded Sundown.
I haven't even heard of that.
I haven't heard of that one either. We might have to check that out sometime then.
Is it also like a horror movie or is it
I would
or
imagine so. Yeah.
okay, yeah. Is was that all you were able to find?
No, I got a couple more actually.
All right, might as well just ring them off.
Yep, the last couple is that the lead character Ginny Field was actually named after Virginia Field, who was the production designer of the first two films. And last but certainly not least, I found out that Jason's original name in the film was Josh, but screenwriter Victor Miller thought it wasn't as scary enough, so he changed it to Jason. I
Okay,
think that was a good decision.
they at least made one competent decision on this movie. That's good to know.
Yeah. But that's all I have, and I'm ready to give my final review. Just before I do that, I will point out, as much as we dogged on the film, the final box office of it was over $21 million. So despite all the pitfalls and its $1 million budget, they did make well past their budget.
That's interesting because I know I don't remember what the score was right off the top of my head, but I feel like I remember seeing that on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, the score was just abysmal. I think it was
Yeah,
I want to say it was like 13% or something. So it just makes me wonder like if it was received poorly back then too or
yeah, because it's had over 40 years of people reviewing it.
right. So like I'm wondering, I don't know, like if it I'm wondering like if it was maybe better received back then. I mean, cuz you also have to remember back then 20 million was a lot more than it is today. Like it's a bigger sum of
Oh,
money.
absolutely.
Ticket
Yeah,
prices were lower, like it means more. There's no doubt that like they made they made their money back. Clearly, they made 20 times what they spent. So, I mean, financially at least, it was a huge success. But I would just be curious to see how it was received back then, because I know right now, if you go on Rotten Tomatoes, I don't quote me on this, but I want to say the critic score is like in the teens, and I think the audience is in the 40s. So at least right now, it's definitely not looked upon as fondly as at
yeah.
least the original. Um, yeah, I know personally for me, I mean I'm not really a fan of these types of movies to begin with. I just think they're just kind of low grade. Like I would rather watch just about anything else. I mean, I just don't find them entertaining. But even like compared to the original or like the original Halloween, I felt like this was just it didn't feel different enough. And considering they had doubled the budget, I really feel like they should have been able to do something like different. Like I know with the Halloween movies, me and my buddies back at school, we did a Halloween marathon, well, a marathon. We watched the first two movies. And you could tell that the second one like they were actually able to like make it it's the same concept of like Michael Myers, chasing them around, but they got like an actual like a giant building. They had like actual sets outside of just a random house. They were able to do a little more, and I feel like that's kind of what I would have expected out of a sequel with a $1 million budget. Um, but it was to me it just seemed like a copy and paste of the original, just with a different killer. So I just found it horribly bland. So I unapologetically gave it a 1 out of 5.
Yeah, I was a little bit leaner in the score with it. I gave it a star purely because it was the first film that had Jason in it. So mine was a 3 out of 5, but I am totally comfortable giving this a 2 out of 5.
Yeah, so with that said, our overall like official screening room podcast review for Friday the 13th Part 2 is a 2 out of 5, or would that be a 4 out of 10? Um, that's our lowest movie yet. I have no doubt I'm we'll see how long that record holds. I don't know, especially come November. We'll see. But yeah, no, I think at least for me, I want to speak for you, but it just I don't know. It left a lot of room to be a lot to be desired. Um, that's really all I
Yeah,
have to
same.
say about it.
Yeah, my consensus is pretty much the same. If you're getting, started into these films, or even if you're trying to get, everyone together to go watch a horror movie marathon, you can probably skip this one.
Yeah, no, it really, yeah, I would not recommend watching this unless for whatever reason you're trying to get through all the Friday the 13th movies. I would not recommend that, but if that's your thing, good for you. Go for it. I don't know if you have any like closing things you want to say before I wrap it up here.
No, I'm all set.
All right. So yeah, this was like kind of a bonus episode. It is taking place of our like usual Friday upload slot. But we are going to get a I mean, this was kind of the bonus one because it's shorter. I mean, we're not even going to hit 20 minutes here, but we're going to do like a longer Oscar related video in a couple days. So stay tuned for that. We'll be going over like nominees. And we'll probably also do something like talking about like the winners and everything. We're not going to do like every category, but we're going to go over like the bigger ones. So like best picture, director, actor, actress, cinematography, score, music, that kind of thing. So definitely stay tuned for that. That'll probably be a longer one. So you'll get more of us in there. But with that all said, thank you all for watching. This has been Evan and Mike here on the Screening Room podcast, where we talk all things movie and entertainment. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.